Hello everyone, it's Josh Radio Proctor, and today I am going to be giving you my personal thoughts on the latest adaptation of Firestarter. I have the bias of having read the book before having watched the movies, and make sure to subscribe so you don't miss on the Firestarter ranking that I'll be doing in the next couple of days. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below if you've seen this movie, what you thought of it, or even of the previous movies, what you have enjoyed of that or the book. Firestarter is a movie just generally about this girl who has pyrokinesis after being born from parents who had this test from Lot 6 under this direction of the shop. And now that Annie McGee and Charlie are on the run, Charlie must decide how much she must use her pyrokinesis. So overall, starting with the positives, I really do love the score that's intermixed within the plot. It really works well with the rather good visuals that are shown throughout. The visual is pretty well done, not perfect all the way through, but overall there's a good feel for what I sort of expected to be an updated version of this adaptation. And the music score itself, it has John Carpenter on board, who has also done the Halloween music, which makes sense, and it really works to its own advantage to add this to a horror movie. And overall, just sort of more mixed on what I'm liking about this film. Really, all I can say is, at best, it feels like a decent sort of other mutants, like an X-Men mutants type of story, where it feels very generic in some hero and villain setup, the chemistry, how they're using the pyrokinesis and telepathy and telekinesis is fine sort of for what it's doing. It feels separate from the story itself, which leads me into the negatives, and I'm glad I got a chance to resolve and not rant on this movie right away, because I personally do not like this film. Overall, the plot feels very forced. There's different parts that just feel contrived, and there's reasons that are not left answers. And the way the shop goes about doing this, there's a lot of things that just don't feel to fit together right, and that's even without going off of my bias of the book. Just as the film alone, I really did enjoy the aspect that they're going for something new, but as you're going further and farther away from what the book begs of the story to offer, you're taking away a lot from the tone and the messages that feels so rich within the book itself that is absent from this movie, and ruins characters that should be enjoyable to like. But after all, there's hardly any development within some of these characters, and Charlie's arc that you get from the story itself is absent from this movie personally. And I don't understand some of the choices they made besides trying to do something completely different. But even with this new story that they're still having the base characters, it feels like they're not trying to adapt it at all, besides the very general ideas. But even with their unique ideas, they're not trying to do their own story justice by developing characters in a sufficient way. And as much as I don't hate ranting on directors, because they're all doing excellent work putting these things together, and there's an directorial intent while writing this story, that they're portraying something, a certain mood, through what they're showing through this art of cinema. But personally, I did not receive whatever they were trying to, and with all the negative reviews, it doesn't seem like what they were expressing through this unique retelling of Firestarter, that it didn't seem to go across well for everyone. And personally, having read the book also, and not always letting that get in the way of them choosing to do different stories. They just really misinterpreted what Stephen King was telling, and like I just highly enjoyed the book. And so the movie itself was a letdown, giving her powers inherited from her parents, changing some characters to where I did not care for them as much. And I'm not going into spoilers within this review, but things at the end, what she does with her power, completely changed the effect of her behavior and how you want to view Charlie as a being. It just feels like a out of control mutant more than just a young girl that is going through these emotions and having to deal with it. And it's just frustrating seeing the way they just completely changed the character and her connection with the father. Well, the acting is rather good for being the younger kids, and even better than the 1984 version. Overall, the feel of it is just way off, and I cannot attach to these characters even with this unique storytelling. That's just my personal thought on the recent Stephen King adaptation of Firestarter. Let me know down in the comments below what you have thought about this movie if you haven't seen it. But in general, I cannot recommend this personal movie, and I definitely advise you to read the book. Check out my other review on the book itself to get my other take on what I think of that. Make sure to comment down below what all your thoughts are on this. Make sure to like and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.